Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to my weekly Wednesday chat. Say hello in the comments. I want to know how you are all doing. I see a lot of my fabulous creative community here. Hello, Pauline. Hello, Haneke. It's great to see you. You have to tell me if I'm pronouncing that right. Sherry's here today, which is awesome. And Cynthia, are you asking about my Doodles coaching week? Because that actually starts in 1 hour. It starts today in 1 hour. So for any of you who are joining me here today, this is actually not my Doodles coaching week. That starts in an hour. This is my weekly Wednesday live. And I'll explain the difference in just a second after I say hello to a few more people. Hello, Maria. Hello, Maria. It's great to see you. And it is Wednesday already. Janelle, it's great to see you. Hello, Janet. It's wonderful to see you. And Madeline is here today, which is awesome. Hello, Natalie. Hi, Amy. It's great to see you. And Karen is here, which is awesome. Hi, Sherry from Baltimore. And then there are a bunch of you coming in from various channels because I also am broadcasting this over on YouTube. So hello, Kathy. It's great to see you. And Annie's here. Hello, Annie. Hello, Bonnie. It's great. For an American, I've got it right. Okay, great. So Haneke. And wonderful. Where are you in the world? Where are you in the world? Hello, Debbie. Okay. So I'm going to say hi to Judy as well, and then I'm just going to get started so that I can explain what these Wednesday chats are. And here we go. Hello, Amalia. Hello, Amalia. It's great to see you. You're coming over from my YouTube channel. So for those of you who are brand new and have never come on to one of these broadcasts before, there are about 33 of you on, and so many of you may be joining me for the very first time. Let me know in the comments. Put in, yes, this is my first time, in the comments if that's you. And just to make sure I'm setting everybody's expectations, this is not my Doodles coaching week. My Doodles coaching week starts in an hour, and it's actually in a private Facebook group that is only open to the people who've registered for my Doodles coaching week, which starts at 1 p.m. Pacific, which is in about an hour. This is something that I've been doing for years. But tell me in the comments, is this your very first time with coming on to my Wednesday Live? Hi, Cynthia. It's great to see you. And hello, Diana. It's great to see you, Diana. So let me know in the comments. I know there's always a little bit of a lag time. And so Cynthia's saying, finally got to watch it live. That's fantastic. And okay, awesome. Yeah, so Haneke, I recognize your name, and so I know that you're also in my Doodles coaching week, so I'm super glad that you know that that's not what this is, and you're going to join me again in your time zone, all right, in an hour, in your time zone. That's awesome. You totally are on it, which is fantastic. So Karen says, yes, it's your first time. So welcome. And so my Doodles coaching week is a program that only costs $10 to join, and it starts in an hour. So, but that's actually not what I'm going to talk about today, because today, this is my weekly Wednesday Live. And so as Annie Starkey is saying in the comments, I come on every single Wednesday at noon Pacific time, and I've been doing it for years. And in fact, Barbara, who's someone who's taking my my Doodles coaching week, she was just watching a video here on my channel from 2018, I think. And so when I saw that she was commenting on it, I made a quick post to her to sort of say, I hope you're not confused. That's not where we're going to be in an hour. And she's totally good. She was just watching some old videos that are here on my channel, on my Facebook business page channel. And so what I do on Wednesdays, every single Wednesday at noon, unless I am on an airplane, is I talk about my blog. And so it's so wonderful that many of you read my blog. And so Annie said that she loved my blog. Yes, many times live and replays. And so my blog, I'm just going to take you guys over to my website so that you can see what we're talking about. One of the things that's great about this technology that I use, which is called Ecamm Live, it allows me to share my screen and then I can pop over to my website. So this is my website, AnnaLaFolletteArt.com. And you can scroll down and read more about it and get some of my freebies that are down here. I've got some super cool freebies and that talk about service design specifically. But if you click on the blog, you can read my blog, and I publish my blog every single Tuesday. And if you're on my email list, you get an email on Tuesday with the blog. And then you can I come on live to talk about it. So I've been away. I've been traveling. So last week I talked about how incredible Paris is for those of us who are in the surface design business, because it's full of inspiration, right? Full of inspiration. And then I just published this yesterday, which is the art of paying attention to, and I want to help you unleash your creative potential. And so that's what the blog post was about. And this is a brand new picture of me from Paris, because I was in Paris last week. And I did a photo shoot when I was there, and it was so much fun. But essentially, you can pop over to the blog and then you can sort of read all about it, because I talked about sort of 3 different ways that you can really reignite your creativity if you're feeling kind of bogged down, or you're feeling like you're a little bit, your creativity's kind of dried up. And so one of the things I talked about was like, go back to like what inspires you. And then it's also really important to think about, well, what's personal to you? What do you really, or what are you always kind of drawn to? And then I also talk about how it's so important to go outside and observe what's around you, and to collect a lot of inspiration from what's around you. And so on Wednesdays, I come on live like I am right now, and I just talk about the blog and I answer your questions. And so if you had a chance to read the blog and you had any questions or big takeaways, share them with me in the comments so we can talk a little bit about it. And while you're doing that, because there's always a little bit of a lag time when I ask a question and then I'm waiting for you to post about it in the comments. One of the things that was so amazing about my trip to Paris and to Copenhagen, and Maria's here. So Maria, hello, how are you? So Shimo, it's great to see you. You're over on my YouTube channel. Thanks for joining. So if you missed my live, not last week, because last week I was actually in a mastermind, and so I didn't come on live last week, but the week prior, I came on live with my friend Maria. Right? Maria Elzanier. And so Maria Elzanier is an incredibly, incredibly talented watercolor artist in Sweden. And I visited her she met me in Copenhagen. She met me in Copenhagen. We had the most fun time. So that actually is a video that's here on my Facebook page. You can scroll down into the video section and you can go watch it if you missed it. And then I left Copenhagen to go back to Paris. When I was in Paris, I had a fabulous photo shoot and had a whole bunch of new pictures taken. So one of the pictures that I used from the photo shoot was actually the cover of the blog for this week, which was so fun, with the Eiffel Tower behind me. And I wanted to just talk a little bit about how incredibly rejuvenating it was for me to be in Paris and to take tons of pictures of things that inspired me. And now I have a whole list of ideas for the collection that I want to make, my surface pattern design collection that I want to make. And so I'm super excited about it. So here's what Annie has to say. She says, you recapped so many things that are continually on my mind and in my heart. I still have Italy going through my veins, but every day there are so many items to visually love. Even here in Kansas, it's exactly right. Even in Kansas, anywhere where we are in the world, there are amazing things for us to take a look at and to be inspired by. And then Haneke says, I was in Dubai in April and took lots of photos of patterns I want to use. So the blog post about your travels was very relevant. Yeah, so there are patterns everywhere, right? And depending on the country, right? Depending on the country that you go to, for example, you might see tiles, right? You might see incredibly beautiful tile work. And Maria and I actually noticed that a lot in the museums that we went to together in Copenhagen. We were sometimes looking at the tile work that was on the ceiling or the tile work that was on the floor, and it was just incredibly, incredibly inspiring. And we did have a wonderful time. Maria and I had a wonderful time. We were only there for 2.5 days together, but it was really, really fun to meet in person. Okay, cool. So Kathy jumped over to my YouTube channel to watch from there, which is awesome. You can watch from either place, here on Facebook or over on YouTube. But what I like to do during these weekly Wednesday lives is I don't stay on for very long. I essentially come on and say hi, and I talk about my blog. And so if you haven't read the blog, just go to annalefollettart.com/blog, and you'll see what I wrote about yesterday. And I thought it was super relevant for me to tell you just a little bit about how incredibly inspiring it was to travel again, right? Because so many of us have not been traveling because of COVID. And wow, Paris was really crowded. It didn't feel, I don't know, Maria, tell me in the comments, it didn't feel to me like Copenhagen was like super, super crowded, but Paris was really crowded. And I was there last year because, with the exception of the COVID years, I go every year at the end of April, beginning of May. And last year just was not that crowded. I think people were still worried about traveling. A lot of people were still wearing masks. And so last year was not as crowded as this year, but everybody's back now. Everybody is definitely ready to travel again. And so, which is wonderful to see. It was wonderful, wonderful to see. And so Maria agrees with me. It was very midweek feeling, right? It didn't feel like it was the weekend. It wasn't crowded. So this is awesome. You may be watching from inside Anne's Art Club, and so I can't see your name, but you're heading to Paris in June. Fantastic. Oh my gosh. Make sure that your camera is ready to rock and roll so that you can take a ton of pictures. It was just fun to walk around. I find that for me, walking in a new city, or even a city that I've been to before, just walking is like the best way to observe everything around me, and to take my time and to just look around and sort of observe what's around me. And it was just amazing. It's Kitty. Kitty, you're going to Paris in June. Awesome. Oh my gosh, Kitty, that's so exciting. And so you have to tell me how to pronounce your name, Xochimo. Is it Xochimo, or is it, tell me, is Xochimo pretty close? Or do the phonetic sound of it for me so that I pronounce it better. And you were in Chile. Wow, you were in Chile last week. That is a beautiful country. I haven't been to Chile in years and years and years. I went there many, many years ago with my job. And so you hope to do some landscape watercolors. Oh my gosh, fantastic, fantastic. That is great. So anyway, what I was saying was, one of the best ways to kind of reignite your creativity, if you're feeling a little stuck or you just sort of feel like, oh, I don't have any new ideas, is to basically just go outside, right? Go outside and take a walk. And then also, I think it's important to kind of take a few minutes, maybe when you're journaling in the morning, if you follow Julia Cameron and the Artist Way and her morning pages routine, which is her journaling technique. Sometimes it's great to remind yourself of places that are nearby that you can get to easily, that you haven't been to in a while. So there are several beautiful museums. I live outside of San Francisco, and so there are beautiful museums in San Francisco that I haven't been to in ages because of COVID. And so some of them have really beautiful outdoor gardens, and one of them is in Golden Gate Park, which is really beautiful, and the other one is really kind of up in the upper part of the Presidio. And so I was journaling myself, thinking about, well, you know, I don't always have to go to Paris for inspiration. I can get inspiration in my own backyard, right? In my own backyard. And one of the things that was so much fun when I first got back, I don't know if you're going to be able to see them, but I'll take some pictures and I'll post them for you in the next week or so. But I have these beautiful dogwoods in the front of my house, and I'm looking at them right now, and they're opening up, and they're these beautiful dogwood flowers that are these big, big, sort of creamy white flowers that are just starting to open up, and so I came back at the perfect time. I came back at the absolutely perfect time, and. So Annie asks, can you let us know your process in filtering all the visual information and how to narrow it down to what you like to use? Yeah, great question, Annie. So what I like to do when I come back from a big trip and I just have so many photographs is I actually will take out my journal and I will write down sort of the themes of what I took pictures of. So great example to use from my most recent trip is I'm trying to figure out, like, when I build my pattern design collection using all this inspiration from Paris, what are the different kind of themes I'm going to have in my different patterns? Because that will help me group pictures or create a Pinterest board, or actually create a mood board inside Adobe Illustrator, which those of you who've taken my program, the Pattern Design Academy, you guys know how to do that. So Annie, one of the things I love to do is write down, okay, well, the theme is going to be about Paris and my love of Paris. But inside the theme, what are the things I saw that I want to try to represent in my own way, in my own style, that kind of stood out to me? So a couple of examples. One is the grill work on all of the balconies that are on outside of Paris apartments. So can you, like, if you've been to Paris before, you're walking down the street and you're looking at these beautiful buildings, these really, really old, beautiful buildings, and everybody has a really, really tiny balcony. And the balcony, to protect people from falling, has a railing. And every single railing is different. It has a slightly different mirror design on it. So I took a ton of pictures of those, and so that is definitely going to be a theme of one of my patterns. Now, the next one was food, right? All of my favorite food, whether it's a croissant or a pain au chocolat or a chocolate eclair, or it's escargot, or it's homard, or it's just a bread like a baguette, or it's pastries in general. So I took a bunch of pictures of sort of food items. And so I will do either a Pinterest board, or when I create my, inside Adobe Illustrator, when I create my mood board, I'll pop in a couple of pictures to inspire me around doing a pattern that has food represented in it, right? All of my favorite foods, European foods. So, right, so that gives me, right? So that gives me that gives you an idea of how I manage to group into sort of subcategories all of the pictures that I come home with to help me with my with creating kind of a little bit of a roadmap for myself about how I want to be creating patterns from the work from everything that I was inspired by. And so Annie says, yes, love it. And yes, I am making myself hungry too, Jean. I am. I'm making myself hungry. Yeah, so ornate wrought ironwork. Exactly, Kathy. That's the perfect term for it. Perfect word for it. And so, Annie, it can be overwhelming. And so I break it down into like those little baby steps. I might upload a bunch of pictures onto a Pinterest board. It might be a secret board so nobody else can see it, or it might be open to the public. Or I might dump them into an Adobe Illustrator document so that I'm creating my mood board, which you know how to do. You can go back to Module 2 and inside the Academy program if you wanted to rewatch how we create those mood boards together inside the program. So Anyway, it was fantastic. It was such an incredible trip. I feel so blessed to be able to travel, and I'm super glad to be home. And again, if you didn't read the blog, go to annaLafelletteArt.com/blog to read more about it. But I hope that you've enjoyed today's session. I usually only stay on for about 20 minutes, and of course, I need to prepare for the first lesson. It's our introductory lesson today in my Doodles my Doodles coaching week, and I cannot wait to get started. It's like one of the most fun times of the year is when I'm actually teaching the Doodles coaching week. It is a blast. It's a blast, and I can't wait. So so Kathy, a mood board is super helpful, right? It's super helpful because it kind of gives you a little bit of a roadmap to follow so it doesn't feel so overwhelming. So thank you for welcoming me home. I'm glad to be here. Of course, I will see you guys next week for my weekly Wednesday live. And in the meantime, have a wonderful rest of your day. And I always like to say in closing that I am Anne LaFollette, and it's never too late to create. Bye for now, and I'll see you next week. And for those of you in Doodles, I'll see you at 1 o'clock inside our private Facebook group. Bye for now.